Hey guys, so today I got a good one. Yeah, I got a good one. Pearl from Just Pearl Things, she was on Talk TV again, and they were discussing parents if it's okay for parents to allow their children to transition while they're kids. Insane, insane, like insane. What the hell is that even supposed? Anyway, because it's Pearl, yeah, she will. I know she's gonna say some wild things, man. All right, let's check this out.
I don't think we should support kids that want to transition. I think
So
we should
so
just
hold
say
on.
no.
So a
Correct.
child. So if are you a parent?
No, no
Okay.
children.
So I'm a parent, and if my 11-year-old daughter came to me and said, Mom, I feel like I should be a boy, so I shouldn't support my child.
Yeah, you should say you're not a boy, you're a girl. That's what I would.
Wow.
That's
wait
what I
till,
think.
wait till you have kids.
Hello and welcome to Women Unfiltered.
What is that even supposed to be? Some like is that even supposed to be up for discussion? Wait until you have kids to know something that is wrong, to know something that is almost child abuse. Jesus.
Where each week we bring you frank and honest debates, all
Yeah.
from a female
This is crazy.
perspective. On the show today, boy or girl, we ask, should children be allowed to decide their own genders? And are teachers right for letting pupils socially transition in schools without informing parents? Or is it what some are deeming straight up child abuse? As always, we'll be filling in the blanks of some of this week's trending news headlines. And later, your questions will be answered. Joining me today are three fierce females: agony aunt and advice editor at The Sun, Sally Land;
Thanks for having me.
Talk TV regular, Afia Hagen;
Hello.
and YouTuber and content creator, Pearl Davis.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you all for being here. But now, buckle up, because this is Women Unfiltered. First up, should kids be allowed to decide their own genders? Parents are able to change their sex marker to a third option X, which allows for a gender-neutral upbringing. We've seen the likes of Paloma Faith, who revealed she had a daughter 3 years after announcing the birth of her child, a trend now being referred to as theybies.
They bees. They bees. This is almost demonic.
Afia, what do you make of this style of parenting?
I mean, it's not a style of parenting that would work for me at all. I have a daughter. She's always been brought up a daughter. What I think is that there's a really fine line between parents not deciding what the gender of their child is, no matter what gender they've been assigned at birth, and just deciding to let them choose, which I think actually puts too much pressure on a child that might not really understand any of these concepts. There's a fine line between that and then a child coming to you and saying, look, I feel that maybe I'm more this or I'm more that, which is different to what I've been born with. For me personally, I don't think this is a good idea.
Okay, and Pearl, do you think this is wokeness gone mad? Is it too woke, this idea?
You already know what I'm gonna say.
I'm excited for what you're going to say.
Like, I think the question, even, should we let children decide their gender? Nobody can decide their gender. If you're a woman, if you're born a woman, you are a woman. If you are born a man, you are a man. You cannot change your gender. And I think accommodating to that is really allowing people to live in delusion, because you can't, just because you dress like a woman, just because you change your parts, get a surgery, it does not make you a woman. So yes, I think it's child abuse. I think a lot of times this is
You see the other lady's face, the other two on the left side. Yeah, they started cringing up. They started getting tight. Oh, this is gonna be a good conversation.
the parents putting their ideology on the children.
That's a very strong
Very.
terminology. Sally, do you think
Yeah.
what do you make of this? Do you think it's child abuse, this
I
behaviour?
don't think it's child abuse at all. I can see that these parents are trying to create an environment for their children where they can be themselves. However, for me, deciding that or saying that your child is gender neutral from the beginning and not revealing their gender isn't tackling the real issue. For me, what the real issue is let's accept our children. Let's accept our boys who love sequins and dance and wearing dresses and wearing makeup and they can be embraced and
Jesus.
celebrated
Mhm.
just in the same way that a lot of girls are celebrated and almost cheered on if they have tomboyish
Yeah.
tendencies.
Do you think if I identified as a dog and my mother took that seriously, that would be kind and nice and a good thing?
What I think would be kind and nice and a good thing, and speaking as a mother, is exactly what you said. It's about embracing our children, embracing their use of
This skips over
imagination,
a question.
and supporting them through. I mean, your formative
So what,
years.
what about with the dog?
you're-
like should they support this and give me a collar? Like I'm just genuinely asking the
But that
question.
is a ridiculous example.
Example.
We're not talking about cats and dogs here. We're talking about gender.
But then I would be pretending to be a guy, which is something that I'm not.
One of
And
one of the
so-
one of the bigger things here is that really, Pearl, do you think children are able to choose their gender and they aware of it?
I don't
Choose
think
your- what is
any.
that?
So even the question, like I think is incorrect for me, anyways, because I don't think anybody can choose their gender. I think you are born either a male or you are born a female. You cannot choose. And I don't think it's kind to allow people to live in delusion.
Whether you like it or not, people can self-ID, whether you like that or not.
Well, they can.
People can do that. Some of those people will be children. What I think is kind
People
is
can self-ID,
wh-
but that doesn't change their. It doesn't change their sex.
What I
it doesn't
thi-
change their gender.
what I think is kind is when we're talking about children specifically, which is what we're doing today, is that we have to be supportive of our children. Like you so rightly said, I think it's such a brilliant point that if we need to embrace boys who like sequins and Barbies and whatever, and girls who like tractors and all those male stereotypes or whatever. It doesn't mean that either of them are born in the wrong body. They just like what they like, and we need to be able to support our children through that. That is actually what is the most important thing.
Now, moving on. And schools are to be banned from letting pupils change gender if their parents oppose it, in new guidance from Rishi Sunak. This comes as parents of pupils attending a school at the centre of a cat gender row have reportedly slammed teachers for focusing on woke issues instead of education.
I think I did a video about this. Yeah, in UK, yeah, there was a school where a bunch of kids were identifying as cats. I did it. I remember this. I remember doing this a reaction to this video. Oh, what the fuck? That it? Cat rally. Oh, God.
Sally, do you think schools need to exclusively focus on, the traditional subjects and educating our children?
Well, there is a lot of amazing work that teachers do on top of education. I see it in my inbox every single day. Teachers writing in, asking for help with parents who've fallen out and the children are suffering. They're helping children deal with poverty, all sorts of problems. However, I really do feel when it comes to the issue of gender, it cannot be decided with the parents outside of the room. It has to be a collective agreement and ongoing discussion.
Pearl, what are your thoughts on this?
I agree. I think it's not the school's place. And I don't think they should really allow that, like calling the kids the opposite gender, because again, kids are very, they're easily confused when they're young. I was a tomboy when I was a kid, and I'm glad I didn't have a teacher there encouraging me to switch my gender. So yes, the parents, that is in the hands of the parents, not the school.
Right. And what about if a child chooses to identify as a cat?
But this is how ridiculous it is. Like this shows how ridiculous this whole argument is.
Because you've opened the Pandora's box. You've opened the Pandora's box. What is the difference for me to identify as a woman or as a cat? So one is okay and one is crazy. I mean, if you said that me identifying as a woman is okay, then you should accept that me identifying as a cat is also okay. You can't say one is crazy and the other one is not. You've opened that box, and when you've opened that box, all kinds of stuff come out of it. That is what happens when you open that box.
Not identify as a woman, you cannot identify as a man. As a man, you cannot identify as a woman, and you can't identify as a cat. And I don't think it's kind to allow people to live in delusion. If I went to my mother or to my teacher, let's use the teacher, and I said, today, I really feel like a cat, and they come forward and they start to allow me to live in delusion and go forward with this and then let me, make cat noises or do weird stuff, I don't think that's kind. In the same way, I don't think it's kind to allow kids to genuinely believe when kids, they believe all kinds of things, to genuinely believe they can change their gender because you can't and you are born what you were born.
But I feel a cat is a very different scenario
Very.
to gender now. Like, I
Yeah.
think this is maybe somewhat taking things off on a tangent.
Yeah, and actually, we should not be equating the two because the two things
Why?
are actually not related and
Yeah.
completely
But they're
different
both
from each
things
other.
that you're not.
When we talk about gender, right? Teachers can play a really valuable role in communicating with parents. It might be that a child comes to a teacher because they're afraid of what their mum or dad or their guardian, their parent might say. They might have trouble being able to communicate that. Teachers can be a really good bridge in bringing a family together and having those conversations. Parents absolutely have to be involved. Now, when we come to the separate issue of children using their imagination in school and deciding to identify as a block of cheese, a shoe, a moon,
Yeah.
a cat, that's absolutely up to them to do what they want to do that. We encourage imagination, but what we also don't want to do is encourage children to harm themselves. We don't want to do that. We don't want to shut down any discussions in school where people can talk about how they
Growing up, I used to say I was Superman. I believed I was Superman. I had the cape, and Jesus Christ, thank God I didn't have parents that told me, you could be Superman. Let's go up, up the stairs and let me push you down and see if you fly. Thank God I didn't have such parents, because this is the insane world that we live in today. You identifying as cats, and we should let you identify as cats. Jesus Christ.
identify, whether that's their culture.
I thought America was bad. Man, UK is such a really strange.
Do you identify as Scottish, English, Irish, Ghanaian, Nigerian? Let's
got to
encourage
race.
all those conversations. Let's back our children when they're going through difficulties. Some of these things that they're exhibiting might be markers of something else, something deeper going on. So actually, we should encourage those conversations so we can dig into that, so we don't miss things. So it's not about encouraging delusions. It's about encouraging imagination, but continually talking with our children so that we know what's going on with them.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Schools were
We're
meant
going to
for
have
math,
to have to
science.
pause that conversation
All
until
right,
later.
all
You're making some
right.
brilliant points. Thank you. There was also the case of another school, the Newmill School in High Peak in Derby, which sent pupils an admission form which let them choose from a list of 42 different gender pronouns. Hell, can there possibly be 42 different pronouns?
You guys know there cannot be 42 it is male and female. Male, female, that is it. I think this is pushing an agenda onto children because you're now allowing kids to think that maybe there could be 42 pronouns when there are not. There's 2.
I honestly think that in order to protect children, it's far better to stick with 2. If they want to have a third,
No.
then
I thought you said-
explore that with the teachers and with parents. But I am very, very reluctant to encourage people to start self-identifying with different genders before they're an adult and able to make those informed decisions themselves. And before they get to that stage, I would urge them to, yes, read the accounts of people who are really happy that they've transitioned, but also please read the accounts of people who have detransitioned and whose bodies have been wrecked and whose lives have been wrecked.
Pearl, from the side of the teachers, well, tell me what you think.
well, I wouldn't support any of the trans stuff. So if
Right.
I don't think we should support kids that want to transition. I think we should just
hold
say
on.
no.
So a child.
Correct.
So if are you a parent?
No
Okay.
children.
So I'm a parent, and if my 11-year-old daughter came to me and said, Mum, I feel like I should be a boy, so I shouldn't support my child.
Yeah, you should say you're not a boy, you're a girl. That's what I would.
Wow.
That's what I think.
Wait.
Facts.
Till you have kids.
That's that. Yeah. Well, I don't think
If you want them.
I don't think I need to have kids to know what a boy is and what a
Do-
girl
do you
is.
think-
But you need
I
to be a
don't-
parent to understand what it is to support your child through something.
Right, but I think the best way to support your children is to have them live in reality.
And I think
don't think
I
allowing
think a non-parent
them- I don't think-
advising
I like you
parents
talk-
how to
hold on.
parent
I don't
is
think
ridiculous.
allowing them to live in delusion is the best way forward. I think it's actually
I can
unkind to the
honestly
kids.
say that shaming anyone is the fastest way to give them long-term, lifelong
Is it
issues.
could not agree with you
as
more.
my inbox is testament to, I have so many emails from men who cross-dress in private and who feel incredible shame about it. They are heterosexual, a lot of them, or are gay, and they don't tell
They are
anyone
gay.
about it
Th-
because
is
they
gay.
have been shamed as children. And that urge to express their femininity doesn't evaporate because a mother has said to them, you are not to do that. That is wrong.
Is it shaming or is it true? Because this is the thing.
But
You
it's-
can't
it's
make
not
somebody
true.
you can't make somebody feel shame. I can say things that are true and you can either feel shame or not. You cannot make somebody feel
That's just
shame.
simply
So
not
so
true.
it's
Of
either
course-
it's either
of
wait,
course you can
let
make
me
someone
finish.
feel
So
shame.
so it's either you say things that are true, and I think that is the kindest thing you can do to your children is tell them things that are true. And I think it's unkind to tell a child that you can switch genders because you can't.
Now,
Facts.
this is the
Facts. Like, how did that become so controversial?
part of the show where we take a look at some of the week's headlines circling our debate and we try to fill in the blanks. So, kicking off with the first one. Parents' fury as children as young as 14 are told in sex ed classes that transitioning gender would stop blank.
Stop. I don't know, bullying. I don't know.
Okay, Afia?
I genuinely have no idea. Armageddon?
I'm so
don't know.
bad at this game.
Depression?
So actually, Pearl was right. It's bullying.
Oh no way!
Oh, okay. So transitioning as young as 14 would stop bullying.
Yeah.
That
I mean-
kind of plays into the attitude that if you are a girl who likes boys things and if you're a boy who likes traditionally
Yeah,
girls
yeah, yeah.
things, well then you should transition. You
Yeah.
are not just a boy who is interested in wider.
Which is not it at all.
And I
right?
just think, why are they talking about that to the kids? It's not their place. That's the place of the parents.
Now, second one is cops accused of changing gender status to blank.
Get a pay
Mm.
rise?
Okay.
I was thinking similar. Yeah, pay raise. I'm gonna go with.
Well, it's actually neutral. They want to change gender status to neutral.
What do you mean? So let's see the whole headline again.
So, cops accused of changing gender status to neutral.
Which is good. So if it's just
Okay.
the police and everybody's paid the same, so a policeman and a policewoman on a certain level, lieutenant, constable, colonel, I'm making
Yeah.
it up, we're all paid the same.
I'm not sure either.
If they're all paid the same, then that makes sense. That's a good thing.
Okay, Pearl,
Yeah.
what do you make of that story?
Well, you know my opinion about women being police officers. I don't think women.
we
should-
need to hear it again.
Oh, okay, yeah. I don't even think women should be police officers because I'm sorry, if I'm in danger and they send me a woman, I'm going to be so offended, especially here. Imagine, okay, I am. So
What are you saying
scared.
about females in the
scared.
UK?
I'm scared. No, I'm okay, because you guys don't have guns here, right?
Okay.
So if I'm home alone
Not
and
actually
someone
true.
and somebody, breaks into my apartment and they send me a woman, it's like, what's a woman going to do that I couldn't do? I'm stronger than most women. I'm in better shape than most women, and I'm taller than most women. So it's like, what is that female police officer really going to do?
Well,
All right.
that's on you.
Lastly, average age of patient diagnosed with gender dysphoria falls from blank to blank amid spike in kids seeking
Average,
care.
From maybe before it was like 18 to 14.
Okay. Sally.
I'm going to go 30 to 16.
I think I'm going to go with, because we know it takes a long time. I'm going to say maybe like 28 to 22.
So it's from age 31 to 26.
Does that mean that people are being seen quicker, having their issues dealt with quicker? That's got to be great for them, right?
They're more confident to
yeah,
discuss it.
rather than
Yeah.
living in a limbo for God knows how long. So I think
Yeah.
for people who have gender dysmorphia and who are suffering, this can only be a good thing. Less years of suffering, less years for a diagnosis for anything is always good.
Absolutely. All right, you've been sending us your questions ahead of this week's show, and we're going to do our best now to answer one of them. Mo asks, where I live, my son couldn't legally get a tattoo until age 18, drink alcohol at age 21, vote at age 18, drive at age 16. He's in his 20s now, but let's pretend he isn't. Why should he be allowed to legally decide gender if he can't decide to have a beer or a tattoo?
It folds into my feelings that we really need to go slow with children who want to transition. We don't know anywhere near enough about puberty blockers, about cross-sex hormones, the long-term damage that it has on the body. So yes, I think it's absolutely, it's really concerning that a child can transition when they are young. I think we really need to wait until they're a lot older, until they can make that choice for themselves.
Yeah. Pearl, what do you think of this?
I think Sally's absolutely right. I think it's actually disgusting that we even consider a child transitioning below the age of 18. If you want to do what you want as an adult, that's your prerogative. But the fact that we're pushing this on to children, I just cannot get behind. And I think it's predatory, and I think it's taking advantage of children's innocence.
That's all we've got time for today. My thanks to Sally, Afua.
Oh, bro, man, she brought back. Oh man, them, especially this black lady, man, she was. Oh God, man. Oh, you know, they say you can't choose your parents, but thank God I had the parents I did, because if I was in any way, shape, or form confused about my gender, all this other nonsense, I had parents that would actually help me, not affirm me, not confuse me even further. Help me, actually help me. I have a very strong mom. I have a very strong dad, and thank God that I don't know if it was faith, but I don't, But if you believe in that sort of stuff, if you're religious, if you believe in faith. But thank God that that they gave birth to me, that I had them as parents. Because if I was born into a woke family, and then God forbid I was confused about what I am, who I am, my gender, all this other stuff. Oh my God. Oh my God. But yeah. Anyway, let me leave it there. If you like the video, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the heck out of this video. Yeah. If you like it, please hit that like button, hit the share button, leave your comments down below. And if you may, please subscribe. You have a good one.